Hello, my peeps. This Algebra Nation video will cover workbook page 66, problem number 5, part A, B, and letter C.
And our y-intercept. So we're given an equation. We've got to find where that line crosses your x-axis and where it crosses your y-axis. So your x-intercept is the point where the line crosses your x-axis. So you've got a graph, right? You've got your x-axis and your y-axis. You have a line. This point right here is where the line crosses your x-axis. That is our x-intercept. What's the value of x for that point? We don't know. It's some value x. What's the value of y? How far up is it or down is it on your y-axis? It's not. It's on your x-axis. Y is equal to 0. So your x-intercept is always going to have the form x comma 0. Now your y-intercept is the point where the line crosses your y-axis. So what's the value of x here? How far to the left or to the right do we go? We don't. It's on the y-axis. 0 is your value for x when you're looking for your y-intercept. How far up do we go? We go to y. So your x-intercept is always going to have the point x comma 0, and your y-intercept is always going to have the form 0 comma y. So for this first equation, we want to figure out the x and the y-intercepts. Now to figure out the x-intercepts, we don't know what x is, but we do know what y is, right? We know that y is equal to 0. So we're going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. Okay? Well, now what? We know that 0 is y. We're trying to solve for x. What do I need to do? I only want x on my right, and I want to get my number on the other side, right? Numbers on one side, numbers on the other. We're just solving here. So I have 6 being subtracted from 3x, so I'm going to add 6. Whatever I do to one side, I do the other. Those cancel out. 0 plus 6 gives me 6. 6 is equal to 3x. What do I do? Divide by 3. X is equal to 2. So the point where this line crosses the x-axis is at the point 2 comma 0. All right, now what about our y-intercept? What about our y-intercept? Well, let's look. We have y equals 3x minus 6. For our y-intercept, we know that x is equal to 0. Well, if x is equal to 0 right there, what's 3 times 0? It's just 0. That would cancel out. What are we left with? Y equals negative 6. Remember when you have the equation of a line, and it's in the form y equals mx plus b? Well, what does that b stand for? It stands for your y-intercept. It stands where y is, what value of y you have when the line crosses your y-axis. So, we have a line in the form y equals mx plus b. B is your y-intercept. B is equal to negative 6. So, our y-intercept is 0 comma negative 6. All right, let's look at our next problem. Our next problem, once again, we want to get our x-intercept, which is x comma 0, and our y-intercept, which is 0 comma y. Let's see what we need to do. All right, first one, x-intercept. We don't know what x is, but we know that y is equal to 0. Well, that would give us negative 3x plus 5 times 0. What's 5 times 0? It's just 0. That goes away, so we can leave that out. That cancels out because anything times 0 is 0. So we get negative 3x equals 75. Let's solve for x. Divide both sides by negative 3. Since whatever we do to one side, you got to do the other. Negative 3 over negative 3. We get x equals, what's a positive over a negative? Positive divided by a negative. We're going to get a negative. How many times does 3 go into 25? 25, 50, 75. If I go in increments of 25, how many 25s do I have in there? 3. 3 goes into 75. 25 times. I've got my value. My x-intercept is the point, negative 25, comma 0. All right, let's get that y-intercept. We're not quite done. Our y-intercept, we start with our equation. Negative 3x plus 5y equals 75. Well, our y-intercept occurs where? X is equal to 0, and the line is going through our y-intercept. So x is 0. Well, if x is 0, then this cancels out, right? Negative 3 times 0 is just 0. So we get 5y equals 75. Are we done? We've got to solve for y. Let's divide by 5, and we get y equals, 5 divided by 5 is 1. We get y equals 75 divided by 5 is 15. So our y-intercept is 0, comma 15. Remember, your 0 for x. Your x-intercept is always going to have a 0 for y. All right, we've got one more.
Not until our brain break. Phillip Rivers, the quarterback for the Chargers, just found out that he got a 399 or higher on his EOC and passed. I think he's a little excited. Back to work.
So we're going to find, I'll do this one in blue, our x-intercept. Our x-intercept is x comma 0, our y is always going to be 0, and our y-intercept, our x is going to be 0, and we're trying to find the value of y. Okay, so we know our y is equal to 0 when we're trying to find our x-intercept. If y is equal to 0, well then that cancels out and we're left with 6x equals 10. Divide by 6, divide by 6. 6 over 6 cancels. We get x equals 10 divided by 6. Are we done? No. We always want to reduce our fractions. So what number goes into both of these? Well, 2, they're both even, so we know 2 goes into them. 10 divided by 2 over 6 divided by 2. Let's see what we get. 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Can that be reduced? Nope. Got our x-intercept. Our x-intercept is the point 5/3 comma 0. It's okay to have a fraction for your x-intercept. Absolutely fine. I know you don't like it, but it's fine. All right, our y-intercept. Our y-intercept, our x point is going to be 0. Let's rewrite that equation. We have 6x minus 3y equals 10. Well, if x is equal to 0, plug in a 0 here, what happens? Goes away, right? Anything times 0 is 0. So we're left with negative 3y equals 10. Well, now what? We divide by negative 3. We're going to divide both sides of the equation by negative 3. Negative 3 over negative 3, we're left with y. Can we reduce this? What is 10 over negative 3? Is it going to be a positive or a negative? Positive divided by negative is a negative. 10 divided by 3, does that reduce? Nope. So we're left with y. When x is equal to 0, y is equal to negative 10 over 3. So our y-intercept is negative 10 over 3. The coordinate where the line passes through your y-axis is 0, negative 10 thirds. All right, guys, great job finding those x-intercepts and those y-intercepts. Remember, when you're doing those problems, your x-intercept, you're trying to find the value of x when y is equal to 0. You're finding your y-intercept. You're trying to find the value of y when x is equal to 0. All right, guys, great job.